What we're going to do today is we're going to solve rationals. There's two different ways we're going to solve rationals. One is when there's two terms, and the other one is when there's three terms. Today we're going to do two terms, and tomorrow we're going to do three terms. With two terms, it's really easy because how we solve it is we cross multiply. That's always going to be our first step. Cross multiplying means we take the denominator in the one and multiply it by the numerator in the other. Take the denominator in the one, multiply it by the numerator in the other. So 4 times 5 is 20. 9 times x plus 2 is 9x plus 18. Then we subtract the 18 to get 2. We divide by 9 to get 2 ninths. Now, letter A is going to be similar to that method. We're going to cross multiply, and we get 27 is equal to 5x minus 15. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add the 15, and we get 42 is equal to 5x. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide each side by 5, and our answer is 42 over 5. Now, this is one type of cross multiplying. We're going to look at two others. This one we solve whenever it's a linear equation. What you're going to notice about the next two is that it's going to be a quadratic. Now, if we're looking at letter B, the first step is always the same whenever there's two terms. We cross multiply. 10 equals x squared minus 3x. Once again, 5 times 2 is 10. X times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. This one is different because it's a quadratic. With our linear equation in A, we just get the x by itself. Whenever we have a quadratic, we always set it equal to 0. So that means I'm going to subtract the 10, and I get 0 equals x squared minus 3x minus 10. What I'm going to do is I'm going to factor this. Two numbers that multiply together give me negative 10, add up to negative 3 would be negative 5 and 2. So what I have is x minus 5, x plus 2. So I have two answers, 5 and negative 2. Now we're going to look at our third method. Our third method is going to be similar to our second because it's going to be quadratic, which we'll see in 1 second. But you'll see why it's different than the last one. We cross multiply, and we get x squared plus 6x equals 4. Then what we have to do is we have to set it equal to 0 because it's a quadratic. Remember, quadratic means degree 2. So we get x squared plus 6x minus 4. Now, what's different about this one is that it does not factor. So since it does not factor, what we have to do is we have to use the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So our a value in this case is 1, our b value is 6, and our c value is negative 4. We're going to plug those values in. X equals negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 4 all over 2 times 1. We're going to continue simplifying the quadratic formula. Negative 6 plus or minus the square root. 36, negative and a negative is a positive, all over 2. That gives us negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 52 over 2. And we know two numbers make up 52. 52 would be 4 and 13. And we know the square root of 4 is 2. So what we have is negative 6 plus or minus 2 square root of 13 over 2, which gives us a final answer of negative 3 plus or minus the square root of